Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Josh and Artemis Show. Today,
Canadian.
can I ever just start a show normally? I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned. Anyway, tonight we are discussing the Canadian Cancer Society coming out and apologizing for using the technical term cervix versus a front hole to respect, people who don't even have a cervix. Either transgender or non-binary, or maybe AKA women who have a cervix and just don't want to admit it. But yeah, we're going to get into that because it's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it when we saw this story yesterday. Of course, it's been going around social media, so we'll give you that story today. Before we do, guys, as usual, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the show if you're new to the channel. It really does help us a lot.
For sure. And if you do want to support the show, you could become a YouTube or a Patreon member. Links are in the description and, of course, the bio of our homepage. I think you can donate also on buymeacoffee.com. And, of course, just give us a follow, turn on notifications so you know when we're live.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll share our screen, guys. We'll get straight into this for you today. So absolutely shocking story. It really is. And just another massive example of the erosion of women. Yeah. Right before our eyes. And to us, it's absolutely baffling how not every woman on the planet is concerned about this,
And disgusted.
Yeah.
Like, it's so degrading, objectifying, just belittling and erasing women.
Absolutely. Right. So let's get into this. So Canadian Cancer Society apologizes for not calling cervix front hole in non-binary disclaimer. Yeah. So on a webpage dedicated to cervical cancer, the Canadian Cancer Society is apologizing for referring to the cervix by its technical name rather than euphemisms such as front hole. The agency also conceded that men can have these body parts too. Men can have cervixes too.
Do you have a cervix?
No.
Yeah, I didn't.
According to the Canadian Cancer Society, guys, men can have a cervix. Let that sink in a minute. The Canadian Cancer Society. Yeah. Trans, non-binary, and gender diverse people face significant barriers to accessing healthcare and are less likely than cisgender people to be screened for cancer, wrote the Canadian Cancer Society in a page on cervical cancer screening for LGBTQ people. In a Words Matter section on the organization's official website, the Canadian Cancer Society atoned for the fact that some non-binary and transgender people might find the term cervix offensive and preferred to use the term front hole to refer to female genitalia. It's so pathetic. It really is. We recognize that many trans men and non-binary people may have mixed feelings about or feel distance from words like cervix. You may prefer other words such as front hole. We recognize the limitations of the words we've used while also acknowledging the need for simplicity, the Canadian Cancer Society wrote. True North reached out to the Canadian Cancer Society for comment, but did not receive a response. Of course not. Women's rights activists argue that the terminology is both objectifying and derogatory. British gender critical writer Julie Burchill accused LGBT activists of erasing women by adopting the terms. Both bonus hole and front hole are recommended as trans-friendly alternatives to vagina. Trans ideologues have long tried to erase or appropriate any word that is specific to females, from woman to mother and now vagina. And they have gained a foothold in our schools and in our media. Now gynecological health providers are swallowing the stupid pills too, argued Burchill in a 2023 essay published to Spiked. The term front hole and bonus hole, just saying it is fucking cringe.
It's so disgusting.
It really is.
It's disgusting.
Have been popularized by LGBTQ activists as a replacement for the biologically correct term vagina. What world are we in? You know, in
Yeah.
2022, controversy erupted after the Boston Children's Hospital used the term. Other organizations dedicated to women's health have also adopted the offensive term. A transgender male teen may still have a vagina. He won't call it a vagina. He may use the term front hole or a different term, said Dr. Elizabeth Bosky in a video by the hospital. That's it. So what's your reaction? Because we went absolutely apeshit at this yesterday.
Together yesterday
When we saw it. So what's your reaction to this?
Well, first of all, I think calling anything other than the appropriate terms for a woman's vagina or cervix, like bonus hole or front hole, is degrading. It's derogatory. It's objectifying. It's also just disgusting. And it's belittling women and basically erasing what a woman is. A trans man or non-binary person, guess what? You're still a woman. Like, you can call whatever you want. Like, you can call yourself whatever you want. But at the end of the day, if you have a vagina and a cervix and all the female body parts, you are a woman. Okay. Like, you cannot change your chromosomes. But regardless of that fact, we haven't seen this time and time again. We've brought it up on shows where they're trying to change, instead of being called mom, it kind of highlighted in this article, but I mentioned it last night as well. Instead of being called mom, you're supposed to be called like a birthing parent or a caregiver. It's just like, where are the women who are outraged by this? Like, no, I'm not a birthing parent or a caregiver or whatever else you want to call me. I am mom or mommy or mother. Like, that is like, for me, I am a mom. So, but it's like, that to me is so, it's just taking away something that is very special that women can do. Like, that's like one of our superpowers, And so now we have a bonus hole where a birthing parent, apparently men can chest feed if they take a bunch of drugs, and those drugs go directly to your baby, and you can only breastfeed for a few months and then you can't anymore. So again, what's the point? And it's just feeding into a disgusting fetish. And there was one more point that I had. I said I was going to write a note, but what's the other one? The chest feeding, the mom, the bonus hole. Either way, I can't think of it right now, but either way, it is absolutely disgusting. Like, they're taking away the rights of women, and we're basically saying, don't worry guys, we're evolving so that we don't need women at all. Like, men, they're gonna transition to women. They're gonna take a bunch of drugs so they can chest feed newborns. And yeah, we don't need you. If you got a bonus hole, that's great, but what else are you good for? Like, it's so disturbing. Like, I cannot believe not every single woman, like, because there will be women who are not outraged by this, which is also just appalling to me. Like, this is absolutely just disgusting. And from the Cancer Society, like, good God, like, it's so, like, these people have gone through even more schooling to be an oncologist and treat cancer patients. Like,
with cervical,
in this instance, with cervical cancer, treating women. Like, can we stop pandering to this bullshit? Like, it's absolutely, like, it's just disgusting. If I was a cancer patient and I had cervical cancer, and my doctor started calling my vagina a bonus hole or a front hole, I'd walk up and leave and tell them that, like, they should be sued for malpractice. Like, this is just going along with something that's not facts, that's not true, and also that's very degrading. Like, it's so, I just can't even believe that something as prestigious as the Canadian Cancer Society would actually think to apologize for not, being a bit more sensitive to LGBTQ plus people. Like, trans man, that's a woman. Non-binary, I'm sorry you can't decide, but we can see you clear as day if you're a woman or a man. So, like, I'm sorry, okay? Like, I'm done being kind. Like, I think it went from, oh, let's just, be at least a bit thoughtful to people, to now, here's my rights. You can take them. What else can I give you? We're giving you our sports, we're giving you our prisons, we're giving you our safe private spaces. You have a penis, but you want to change in front of my daughter in a change room? Go for it. You're a woman, right? No, like, can we just go back to reality here and protect our children and also protect like women? Like, it shouldn't be that complicated. And yet here we are. And I've had several conversations with people who DM me now, and by women who also are mothers and have children, who go along with this. And I'm just like, you may as well unfollow me, because like, if this is really how you feel, like, I don't really want you in my life. Like, I I just no longer can like pretend like any of this is okay. We've been calling it out for months, of course, but it's just, I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of having to justify why it is wrong, and like why people can't understand that it's so wrong. And, every single woman should be deeply offended that their vagina or cervix would be called a bonus hole or a front hole. Like, what are we, a prize? Or like, what are we living in, like some weird porn? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is going on that anybody would go along with this? And doctors, like, you shouldn't even be able to practice medicine if that's what you're gonna do, in my opinion. Take it away, because you don't deserve it.
I completely agree. I mean, I don't really have anything to add because you've pretty much nailed it. And also, I'm not a woman, so I don't, for a woman, this is different. It's obviously very, to me, when I read this yesterday, I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's just another massive, massive example of women being erased, which we all should be stopping. But under all circumstances, we should not be allowing bullshit like this to happen. But yeah, it keeps happening. And like you were saying before, this is the Canadian Cancer Society. They are pandering to this. They're more afraid of offending probably a handful of transgender / non-binary people.
Who at the end of the day have female body parts.
Yes, over literal women who have suffered with cervical cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
Or imagine just going to your regular scheduled pap exam and they're like, all right, you might feel a bit of, discomfort in your front hole as I insert that like duck looking thing. I'd be like, you know what? Wait a minute, back up. What did you just call it? Yeah. Why don't you get out so I can get dressed and leave? Because if you are willing to call my vagina a front hole or a bonus hole, get the fuck out of, like, get away from me, because I don't trust you as a doctor anymore. And I certainly don't trust you near my own female body parts. Like, it's so disgusting. And I spoke to one of my best friends and she said the same thing. She said, I would do the exact same thing. I would not let a doctor anywhere near me if this happened, because that is the regular reaction a woman should have. Like, we don't care if you're an adult doing what you do, if you're not encroaching on women's spaces and sports and
now,
prisons.
But now it's getting to the point where they're erasing language which is specific to women. Like things what are very unique to women, like having a cervix, like being a mother, like being able to breastfeed your child. They're trying to get their little creepy, slimy little tentacles into everything about what a woman is.
Yeah.
But yet they can't even define what a woman is.
A woman is a feeling.
When you ask one of these clowns to their face, what is a woman? Nobody can answer it.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling.
It's
apparently.
A feeling.
So, and this is what I'm saying, right? The fact that they don't even have the intelligence or the foresight to recognize what a woman is, and yet they've got the nerve to fucking take away all of your rights, erase all of your language. And like you said before, why isn't every woman in the world outraged by stuff like this?
Yeah.
Because every single woman in the world should look at this and be instantly pissed off. Every single woman. Like, I'm not even a woman and I'm fucking annoyed about it. So what are women doing?
I know. Like
it doesn't make sense to me how you have women going along with this completely. Like, they're completely fine with their rights being taken away. They're completely fine with, terms and words and language, which is completely unique to being a woman, just completely being erased right in front of their faces and replaced with these really weird derogatory terms.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're talking about cancer here as well.
Yeah.
Cervical cancer. So it's not like, there's no excuse and no reason to use it, but especially with somebody going through cancer, like, it's not fun. Okay. Like, it's not just a walk in the park when you're going through cancer. So to already be dealing with such a horrible situation, you then have doctors who want to sympathize with people who can't even tell you that they have a cervix or a vagina because it just triggers them. So you also have doctors who won't even say it like it is, that you have a cervix and a vagina. They're calling it a fucking front hole or a bonus hole. Like, it's pathetic. And, as somebody like going through cancer, it's like, what on earth, like, how on earth would they be feeling? All like having to now think about a new oncologist who has their head screwed on straight and who's willing to call your vagina a vagina and your cervix a cervix. Like, these are the last things that you should even be worrying about. You should be worrying, like, focusing on like treatment and, what's your plan? Like, what options do you have? Like, how far along is it? Like, things that actually matter, and not these terminologies, and having the Canadian Cancer Society apologize for it. Like, it's not just the technical term, it's the only term that you should be using. There is no other term that you should be using, okay? We're not just something that you can rename. Women are not just a costume, and we're not just a feeling. Like, we are adult human females who have the female body parts, who have the XX chromosomes. Like, if you need to go technical like that, if you want to also put in perspective that women have the capability of bearing children, of breastfeeding, and of course there's also circumstances where women can't, but that is the fundamentals of women. And so to just try to take it away, to downplay things, or to change terminology, to basically say that like men can just become women. And what was that thing we saw the other week where men who were trans women were putting like frozen tomato sauce, pretending to making it seem like they were bleeding, like having a period.
Yeah, so they were putting frozen tubes of tomato juice up their
neo vagina, which I can't imagine is also sanitary. Sanitary. They have already got enough complications,
and then allowing it to melt and obviously drip out
and bleed.
Yeah, and then getting all euphoric when it happens and bragging about it to like all their friends, and it's like, you guys look like fucking losers. You
lunatics.
You are putting like frozen tomato juice up your body and then going and have a chat about it with your friends, thinking it's the best thing ever. You look like fucking losers. You really do. You look like absolute freaks.
And guess what?
Hang on. And to me, it's like, why are people going along with it? Why are people being kind? Like it's just absolutely insane how we've allowed our society to get dragged down for things which we've known for thousands of years. We're going over things which have been established for probably hundreds of thousands of years, guys, right? and we're in 2024, and we're going over things which we already know. And for me, it's because people don't realize, right, how good they have it in the Western world. They really don't. We've got a free society here, and because there aren't really any major problems, we don't have any world wars here, people like to complain. People like to make shit up. People like to cause drama and problems. And that's what it feels like all of our world is at the minute. Just petty bullshit problems being amplified by millions of times. And it's just created this absolute cesspool of bullshit. And I'm tired of it now. I'm tired of it. Like things like this, when I see organizations like the Canadian Cancer Society pandering to the delusions of a handful of mentally ill people at the expense of real women, you cannot like just accept it. You just can't. You look, if you're a person who has women in your life, if you are a woman, but if you're a man and you have, nieces, aunties, a mother, a grandmother, anyone who has women in their life should be outraged by this stuff. Because why aren't you? It's a serious question, guys. Why aren't you all outraged by things like this? Because, like, I'm not even a woman and I'm outraged by this, So what are you women doing? I'm not saying all women, because I've seen a lot of people calling this out, but I've also seen a lot of people defending it too. Yeah. So to me, I just don't get the mentality. And I'm just lost for words.
Yeah, there's no justification. And, as we were talking about the frozen tomato juice, like I if anybody actually has felt that way as a woman getting her period, where she gets excited and euphoric and talks about it to her girlfriends, please send me a message, because I can't think of a single instance in my entire existence. And I think I got my period when I was like 10 and I'm 33 now. I can't think of a single time where I got euphoric and excited and had to share with my friends that I'm bleeding now. Like, do you know, like, this is also just how little, no offense, but like how little men know about women. Like, of course, we're like happy to get it, because that just means like, things are normal down there. But we're also like cursing it, like we hate it, we're grumpy, like we like we go through all the emotions of it. Like, it's not the best time for a woman for a week. Like, it's not euphoric, I can tell you that. And it's just something we deal with every month, but it's not something that women get all euphoric or like sexually excited about. Like, it's just cool, it's here, got to deal with it for a week, and then Aunt Flo can piss off. Like, it's like it's so funny to hear, and that's not the first time. Like, Dylan Mulvaney has gotten excited to carry tampons in his purse. He's like, I don't really need them, but like, how cool is it? It's like, again, it's not really something we show off. Look, like, we put it in a pocket in the purse where you don't really see it.
It all ties into just this idea that these like weird.
That's what I was trying to say, was like, it's very superficial thinking of what a woman is.
That's exactly what it is. It's just superficial stuff, which, it's men at the end of the day. Yeah. Like, and they don't have any idea what it's like to be a woman. I don't have any idea what it's like to be a woman, and I live with a woman,
And just like, I don't know what it's like to be a man.
You don't.
And that is okay. Like, that is what beautiful differences we have between the two sexes. Yeah. We have our differences and our strengths, and we utilize them. And, we like, no matter the situation, whether it's like a work or personal relationships, like whatever the dynamic, like, we use those strengths to accomplish things, or to have great relationships, or to succeed in workplaces. Like, there's great differences, and those should be celebrated. But now it's like, let's just blend us both into one and see what happens. Like, look, it's just mental.
Do you not think it's crazy how the scientific world, the medical industry has just completely bought into something which just isn't true. And now we have the Canadian Cancer Society, who are supposed to have medical backgrounds, they're doctors, they're supposed to be experts in this, and they're pandering to this. Like, how can anyone trust these clowns again? You know, how can anyone even bother donating to the Canadian Cancer Society? I'll tell you what, they're not getting a penny from us.
Not a penny from me.
Not one fucking penny.
No.
Because how can you support this?
I know. And my mom had breast cancer, and like, God, like I mean, breast cancer can actually happen to men as well. It's much less common, but but just God, like, if she was here, she would just be thinking, what is going on? And she'd probably not want to support the Cancer Society either anymore.
I mean, how could you support them?
Yeah.
How could you support them? And I hope they get absolutely named and shamed and dragged through the absolute mud.
Yeah, they would deserve it.
I hope they do.
It's like shocking, but not surprising.
Well, it's not surprising because look at the picture here. Let's zoom in.
Who's this ugly face right here?
Oh, it's woman face. Oh, no, sorry, it's blackface. Justin Blackface Trudeau, right in the center there with his little Cancer Society like sash thing on.
Scarf. I don't know.
Like, fucking hell. You know?
Yeah. It's just immensely disappointing, because it's just another thing to add to the list that women are like, they're just trying to degrade women in every single way and basically make us feel like we're useless, like we're just a feeling, like our feelings don't matter, but feeling like a woman matters. Like, this is so concerning. And so when people say, why are you so bothered with trans people, or why are you so bothered with non-binary people? It's not people specifically, it's what's happening because of that. And women are the ones who are suffering. Women are the ones who are, having to be kind and say, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can expose yourself in the change rooms now. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, you murdered a woman, but now you're all of a sudden transgendered and you want to switch to the women's prison. That's totally fine. Like, we'll be kind. It's okay. You want to chest feed, but you'll have to take a bunch of drugs. Meanwhile, I could produce it naturally. And you'll be giving that to your baby. Totally fine. It's like, totally fine. I'm lost for words, guys. My voice is going. It's like one thing after another. Oh, there's been so many injuries with men playing in women's sports, but you identify as a woman, so that's okay. You know what? Go for it. You can actually have my place. Like, you're actually better than me. I'm shocked, though. I mean, aren't you another woman? No, you're a man. Okay, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot believe your eyes. You've got a beard. You're built like a brick shit house. But I just don't get it, because you said you're a woman, right? So that must mean you are one.
Yeah.
Like, what world are we in?
Yeah.
What world are we in?
Like, it's absolutely like nuts. One big, like, I don't know, like prank, a joke on the whole world. Like,
look,
when are we going to wake up from this nightmare? Or is this just the new reality?
It won't be. Look, I predict within 2 years, this will all be over. I can promise you, because more and more countries are stopping it at the source by banning these puberty blockers, right?
Yeah.
The UK did it last week. Shout out to the UK for leading the way. We're
not in the UK, but I mean, it's great.
But for me, it's like we're in the last leg of this now. Within the next 2 years, this I can look. I'm not going to promise it.
Yeah, don't promise it, because you just don't know.
But the way things are going with the changes, what are happening, I think you will see within 2 years that this will all be gone.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Without a doubt, for me, this kind of shit will all be gone, or it will be on its very last legs. Because it can't go on. It just can't go on. Because if it does, where does it end?
Exactly.
Where does it end?
Well, where it comes to a point where women aren't even needed, like they can like artificially
To me,
like make a baby in some like incubator thing, like I don't know, where they can just bake a baby somehow without a woman's body at all, and then all of a sudden they won't need women whatsoever.
it's very interesting.
That like that'll be their mentality,
Well,
that
look,
they won't need us at all.
Well, you've got straight people now referred to as cisgender, and you've got people are widely using the terms biological male and biological female. So to me, you've got to look at the language. That's like the key to all of this. Like
because it's like slowly brainwashing.
The change in the language to all these just language which is fact, and they're trying to like put biological male, biological female in front. I'm a male, you're a female. Let's just keep it simple, guys. Like and cis, come on, what the hell's that all about?
It's so cringe. Like I will never like call somebody a cis male or a cis female. Like it's just dumb.
It sounds dumb.
Like
it just cringe as well.
It's also just like adding to just male or female. Like why? It's always worked, guys. Why is it not working now?
Because a handful of people don't like it.
Yeah,
that's literally it.
Anyone who agrees with calling a woman's vagina a front hole or a bonus hole should probably see a psychologist, because I'm telling you right now, that's not right. So like if you actually have the thought process of saying that's fine, if a doctor did that because they're being kind to men who are who are actually women, but who are saying that they're men, it's like, who cares what you identify as? You have a cervix, you have a vagina. That's it. Like it is black and white right there. Like there's no gray area. Okay.
Doctors should be sticking to the facts.
Yeah.
End of story.
And that is what should be scaring people, is when doctors are now, and oncologists now, like apologizing and, should be using different terminology that's not so technical. No, can we stick with technical and just facts and basic biology and anatomy of a man and a woman?
You would think that's the standard procedure, guys, but apparently, this is the world we're living in. We're on YouTube ranting about the fact that Canadian Cancer Society are too afraid to use the correct term, which is cervix, because they might offend a handful of people. It's just absolutely bananas.
I don't care if it offends one person or 500,000 people.
The point, and here's
wrong.
Here's the thing. It's not even on the Canadian Cancer Society, because who cares if you're offended? Why do people care so much if someone's offended by something? Like, who gives a shit? It's literally the facts. It's literally the truth.
Well, yeah, our doctor's going to start just pandering to feelings instead of facts.
They are. This is, look.
What if somebody who's like 500 pounds comes into the office, the doctor's office, and, is just having a checkup with the doctor? Is the doctor going to potentially hurt their feelings if they say that, they do need to lose some weight for their heart and
that's the next thing. That's
their health? Or will they tell them facts like, if you do not lose weight, you will, suffer from this, and this, and have a high risk of dying? Or will we just pander to their feelings? Yeah, you're fine.
No, because that's not being kind. So
exactly.
So you're not allowed to do that.
This is what I mean. Like, so doctors, are you going to now just step away from facts and just go based on people's feelings?
To me, it's like the opposite of being kind, though, because to me, being kind is telling the truth. And sometimes you're not going to like the truth, but guess what? Sometimes you need to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
And if you're pandering to people because of their feelings, because you're too scared to literally say what the truth is, then you've got no business being a doctor. You've got no business being in the medical industry. You've got no business having a medical license. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I don't like, do these people realize the damage they're causing? Do these people actually have any kind of...
Well, they're not even considering women.
Well, this is my point, because clearly they've got no foresight whatsoever, because if they genuinely think that it's a great idea to go along with this because of a handful of people at the end of the day might be offended by a fact and the truth, then what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm being serious here. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get how we've got to this point where basic facts, truths, and common sense are just non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
They're just completely gone out the window because all we seem to see is pandering to just, and it's just lies at the end of the day as well, you know, and it's just lies, and we're told to expect to lie. We're told to go along with these lies. It's not going to happen
And
with us. It never will. It will never happen.
Yeah, and it's
with
coming at the
with
expense
us,
of
ever.
women and also children. Like, if you're in a public change room in a swimming pool or something, and you're trying to be kind and you don't care if there's a trans woman in the change room, and let's say you're with your 8-year-old daughter and a man is changing fully intact, but he identifies as a female. You're literally allowing a man to expose himself to your daughter, but we're being kind. This is not kind. This is like borderline pedophilia, like by exposing themselves. This is illegal. And yet, because they identify as a woman, that's all they have to say. It's like this magic get out of jail free card, literally.
That's all it is.
Literally, actually,
That's
literally.
what it is.
I just came up with that, but it's a literal get out of jail free card. And it's totally fine. And women should just go along with it because we want to be kind and inclusive. That is wrong. And also, how the hell do you explain this to your daughter? Like, that's wrong. I mean, that's okay. But if a man comes up to you on the street and exposes himself, that's wrong. Well, they both have penises. I know, but that guy, he believes that he's a woman, so it's okay. Okay. Like,
Honestly.
Good God, like the next generation growing up is going to be so like mind fucked.
Well, that's
like
why,
they're not going to
look,
understand what is right and wrong. Like, what do they need to believe? What do they need to learn? Is it science or is it feelings and not pay attention to the facts? Like, is it that they need to be kind and give up all their rights, or is it that they need to stand up for their rights? Like, what are we teaching this young generation? And we're going to see the outcome of that in 10, 15 years. And it could be very grim. And, you know, we have the power to change that. But like, until people actually speak up and not, you know, also just speak behind the scenes, but just talk to people about it, share your feelings about it, like how you don't agree with what's going on. Like, there's certain things that should be totally non-negotiable, in my opinion. Like, you can dress how you like, but when you start doing any of these things that we've just talked about, and you start calling a cervix or a vagina a bonus hole, like, it's just so degrading. Like, every time I say it, like, it makes me want to be sick. Like, and you know, I've taught both my girls, like, since they could talk, what their proper body part is. Also, like, first of all, just because I want them to not have like little nicknames for it. I want them to be able to identify their body parts. But second of all, just because, like, for their own safety and also for their own understanding of what, you know, what they have, and not be ashamed about it. Like, they've been calling their vaginas since, I don't know, they were both like 18 months, like maybe 2 years old, and now they're 5.5 and 7. Like, they have always known that. And, you know, they understand like a decent amount about the female body, because like I talk about it to them, because it's important for them to understand, and like appropriately, obviously, not like like anything sexual, just mostly like basically their anatomy and stuff. But like, you know, these things are important to teach the young kids, like what things are, and appropriately. Like, you shouldn't be calling, like, imagine, like, I told my daughter, like, to call her vagina a bonus hole. It sounds so disgusting. And like, it's just, it's insane. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
And like it should not be allowed in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting crazier and crazier, you know. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll be back on Sunday. So we've got a new time slots now. So we're going live Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern. So set your reminders for those dates. And
For sure.
Yeah, we'll look forward to see you again on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And guys, if you just enjoy the show, leave a comment. You know, we want to know your thoughts and opinions. You know, don't be shy. Even if you don't agree with what we've said for whatever reason, you know, you can share your opinions on that and why, you know, you feel that way. We're supposed to be able to have discussions, even if we don't agree on stuff. But if you also agree, like leave a comment and show support too. We love reading comments and we appreciate it very much. Of course, like and share the show. Follow us on X, turn on notifications because then you'll know exactly when we're live. The way it works with X, we can't really post before. So you do kind of have to just be aware of the time. So turning notifications on for X is very helpful. But we do appreciate everybody's support. And yeah, we'll see everybody on Sunday, probably with more madness. But we're working on some guests behind the scenes as well because we like having guests on. We haven't for a little while. So, you know, stay tuned. We're going to start having guests on again. If you guys have any suggestions or anybody you want to see, let us know too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're always open to conversations. So
absolutely. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you Sunday.
Yeah. Take care and have a great start to the weekend. Tomorrow's Friday.
I can't wait for Friday.
I'm so excited. So excited. It's been a long week. So yeah, hope everybody has a great evening and we'll see you Sunday.
Take it easy.
Bye.